I know that this has happened to you. How often have you given a client advice? It made them money, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars, and you didn't get paid even one single dollar for that advice that you gave, but it added to their revenue. And maybe it starts out with a client calling, asking a quick question, not going to take much time. And because your client center, you jump in, you want to help. But before you know it, that quick 5-minute question turns into a 30-minute strategy session, and maybe even longer. And you realize afterwards that you've given away so much insight and that you haven't been paid for this engagement whatsoever. So the problem has nothing to do with generosity. I want you to realize that. But what happens is that you're giving away advisory for free. And as a result of that, you're training clients to actually go ahead and undervalue your expertise. And that is something that can be corrected, because when we go ahead and stop this cycle and you start to create a response to these quick questions so that you are able to now move them into an advisory session or maybe even a package of advisory services, then it is something that's going to be a win-win. It's going to be so that they actually value more because they now have skin in the game. They're paying for that service. And also it adds to your bottom line. It's something that creates revenue for you when you previously were giving away for free. So I want to tell you a little bit about Janet. Now, she was one of those people that was giving away a lot of information for free. She realized that it had to stop. And what she did is, when she had a particular client go ahead and call her about cash flow, she just went ahead and changed her response. She was telling them about, she reached out, she said, I think you're leaving money on the table. And after I looked at things, I can see that if we went ahead and we adjust your pricing structure, then it's going to go ahead and improve your cash flow immediately. So yes, she did respond to them, and she went ahead and identified the problem and gave some insights as to what she could do. And as a result of that, during this meeting, her client then followed through, and it increased their revenue by $25,000 a month. That was significant. And instead of being where she didn't charge for this because she's done this for this client before, she didn't want to have that good service anymore of doing something, answering the quick questions and giving it away without compensation. She went ahead and she explained to them that she's moving them into advisory packages. That's something that she's going to start offering. And they were a quick yes, because of the fact that they've already seen the benefits of working with her. In fact, when we first started looking at this with her, I told her to go ahead and track her time and realize how much she was giving away. It came to, on some weeks, about 8 hours a week of free advice. And for her, that was about $60,000 in revenue that she could have gone ahead and gotten paid for, but she never saw a dime of it. So that was what created awareness for her, that she's making a difference for her clients and something needed change so that everybody benefits from it. Once again, we were aiming for that win-win. So think about this. When you first probably started your profession, you were originally trained on compliance, whether it was the reconciliations or maybe giving your clients the reports and possibly doing the tax returns. So you were focused on the compliance side of things. And it's possible that clients came to you, they emailed you, or they called you with questions, and you happily gave them that advice. You were working for somebody else. You were trained to be client-centered. And of course, that meant answering their questions. But you gave it away because you were looking to be helpful. You wanted them to succeed. Once again, client-centered. And what happens then is that it's something that works well, maybe when you're working for somebody else and you're first starting out in your own career. But over time, you realize that once you have your own firm, it's something that you don't want to do. You don't want to continue going ahead and giving that free advice without getting compensated, because a lot of times people might ask you those quick questions, but because they're not paying for it, there's no skin in the game, they don't necessarily follow through on that advice. And then others, they do follow through on that advice and they're making a lot of money. Like that one client that Janet had that brought in an additional $25,000 a month revenue, but she never got compensated for it in the beginning. So we want to be able to correct that, especially if this is now your firm. And it's similar to that attorney that maybe charges $400 an hour. Well, when you're paying someone $400 an hour, you know you are going to follow every single word and piece of advice that they give you. And we want that to happen to you too. So how you might be thinking, well, I'm already doing this for free. How do I start charging it? And I absolutely get that. That's something that I deal with all of my clients. And here is a simple 3-step framework that you can start to implement. The very first one, step 1, is draw the line. Okay, let's create a boundary. Let's have some awareness. Now, compliance is all about the tasks. Advisory is about the guidance. That's a very simple way of differentiating the two. Compliance is about the task. Advisory is the guidance. And when you start recognizing when answering those questions crosses over into strategy, I want you to become aware of it. It could be pricing questions, questions about cash flow issues, or maybe looking at how to have process improvements, or possibly even tax strategy. So as you become aware of these things that you were previously or maybe even currently giving away for free, just write them down. Open up an Excel sheet, write them down, start to create that list of everything every single time that you do that. So that gives you awareness, and it actually starts to build the foundation for advisory services. So once again, step 1 is draw the line. Step 2, create containers. What I mean, well, we want to go ahead and create packages for your advisory services. This creates structure. It gives it some scope, some context, and maybe it's going to be quarterly strategy sessions or an advisory package that you create. It's something that you want to be able to think about how it fits into your firm and with your clients. And as a result of that, it actually helps you to reduce those free calls, those quick emails that are asking for what they think is a simple question, but you know is going to be hours of research. And by putting it into packages, clients realize that it's something very distinct and also something that they are paying for. So once again, they have skin in the game, they value it more, and you are now getting compensated for something you were previously giving away. So step 1 is draw the line. Step 2 is create containers. Step 3 is redirect. Okay. What I mean is you have a client reaches out. They say, I have some quick questions about cash flow. Can I go ahead and pick your brain? And your client centered. So of course the knee-jerk reaction is saying yes on the spot. In fact, that might be your natural go-to. You don't like saying no. You don't want to disappoint your clients. So I want to give you the exact words you can use instead of just saying yes on the spot. And once again, giving away some free high-value information. You want to say instead, now that's a great strategic question. And what I want to do is let's talk about how to put that into an advisory session so we can actually look at it properly. So once again, great strategic question. Let's go ahead and talk about building that into an advisory session so we can look at it properly. And as a result of that, you're not shutting down the conversation. You're acknowledging that they want to ask you about some strategy, but you're now elevating it to something where they get your dedicated attention and you are getting compensated for it. It raises how they're viewing you, no longer just as that technician, but moving over into an advisory role. And this is something, going back to Janet, that she did as well. She reached out to one client and said, you know, I realize I've been giving you strategy that is outside of the services that we ought to be doing for you. So going forward, that falls under my advisory package. The package includes a monthly call and quarterly planning, and the investment for that is $1,500 a month. Now, that client, They've been with her for a while. They've gotten some great insights, and their business has benefited bottom line, revenue-wise, because of her insights and her guidance. Because of that, they immediately said yes. They didn't even hesitate. And their response was, we would actually be crazy not to. Your advice has already paid for itself. And this is something that happens when you're already giving value to your clients. Your best clients, they recognize the value of your advice and they are willing to invest in it. So as a result of Janet doing this, she was able to increase her revenue by 30%. And she now has clients that no longer just view her as a technician, but now they see her as a partner. And that is something you deserve as well. Okay, this might be a stretch for you. As a result, I know what you might be thinking. What if my clients push back? My clients are all price sensitive. What if they say I'm nickel and diming them? Well, I'm going to let you know once again, just like with Janet, your quality clients do not push back. The ones that do are the ones that have always seen you as a technician, and they wanted to get as much from you for free without having to pay for it. Maybe they've always questioned your invoices, why something took so long. They were always late with responding to things. So you know who those clients are, and those are the ones that push back. And when Janet went through this process with her clients, she was able to see that the ones who already valued her relationship, they were happy to move over into advisory packages. The ones that were price sensitive, they actually moved on. But let me let you know, as a result of them being released, moving on, it freed up more time. It allowed her to do more higher level advisory services with her clients who valued her expertise. And it also gave her some of her personal time back. So this is your action step for today. Are you ready? Okay. Think back to the last time you gave a client advice, but maybe about how it improved cash flow, maybe you saved them money, or you boosted their revenue in some way. And write down exactly what you shared. Then ask yourself, how could this maybe be packaged as advisory services instead of being given away? So once again, think about the last time you gave away advice, write down exactly what you share, then think to yourself, how can it be packaged as advisory services instead of being given away? So that's your first step for going from free to fee. And that is because when you recognize the value that you deliver, your clients will recognize it too. So if you're ready to build advisory services into your firm without adding more hours, then let's talk. Go to businesssuccesssolution.com/let's talk. And during that meeting, we'll discuss your expertise, how to be able to engage more quality clients, and increase your revenue without reducing your workload. So once again, just realize advice creates real results. Your advice creates real results. I'm sure you have so many stories that you can share also about how you made a difference for your clients. And it's time that your business reflects the value that you deliver and you are well compensated and recognized for it. So let me know what resonated with you, what you took away, what's coming up for you, where you might need more additional information, or pass this forward to somebody else who needs to hear it. I look forward to the connection of hearing from you, and I look forward to further conversations. This is Lauren Fogelman with Business Success Solution, showing accounting firm owners how to be able to double their revenue working half the time.